Strom Jr. telling ESPN this week that his team's 1-3 record has to do in part with their lack of heart and energy.
I don't regret anything that I said.
When you have the locker room that we have, that will help galvanize them.
If it took that to come together as a team, I could take that every single time.
Finito. Done.
And that is all she wrote on this long, frustrating afternoon.
If I remember correctly, we had maybe like 3 carries after the first quarter. That doesn't make sense to me.
Breaking news, Jay Ajayi placed on IR.
The Philadelphia Eagles searching for answers potentially elsewhere.
We're gonna get it fixed. It starts with me.
What a week for the NFC East.
Right?
And what a great way to start week 6. We will get you set on NFL Total Access with Scott Hanson, Lindsey Rhodes, the Eagles, the Giants. Look, everything's fine.
Yeah, sure. We could call this one a code red
Right?
Thursday night football matchup. The 2-win Eagles against the 1-win New York Football Giants. Kim Jones is at the stadium where it's all going down tomorrow night. And on the day before the game, Kim, you have good news for Giants fans.
What you call good news, Scott, the Giants would call great news. Olivier Vernon, their best player in preseason, will make his season debut tomorrow night on this field against those Eagles. And for the New York Giants, this is such an important game. You could argue that it's a must-win as they sit at the bottom of a muddled division, but they've got just one win this season. And then there are the Eagles, and I think this speaks best to their situation as they try to refine that Super Bowl magic. They have won just one of Carson Wentz's 3 starts this season. He, of course, is ready to go tomorrow night. And with an eye on those standings, both Pat Shurmur of the Giants and Doug Peterson of the Eagles have emphasized to their teams, everything's still ahead of you. But you know that both of them would love to create a little bit of a hope with a win tomorrow night.
Now, Kim, they have history going against them, the Giants do in this series. Last 8 games between the Eagles and Giants. How about 7 wins for the Birds, 1 win for Big Blue? And almost all the statistical categories, of course, an advantage of the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's bring in former Super Bowl champion James Jones right now. The Giants, 1-4. They need this one badly. Otherwise, people would say their season is done. Finito if they don't win it. How can they win this one?
This is easy for me. Get the ball to the best player on your team. And it's not
13?
Odell.
Not 13.
It is Saquon Barkley.
Wow.
Find ways to get this kid the ball. He could catch it. He could run it. You might as well let him throw it, too. But get the ball in his hands. You have to find ways to get the ball into these special players' hands, and Saquon is special. So this is up to the coaches. Find ways. If it's putting them in the slot, putting them out wide at wide receivers, motioning them out of the backfield. Find ways, different ways to get this kid the ball. He's the best player on your team. Get him the ball if you want to win.
He's absolutely produced over 100 scrimmage yards in every game of his rookie season. Banged himself up a little bit at the end of that touchdown run there in the Carolina Panthers game. He should be fine going into this one. Eli Manning at home in the month of October, 21-5. Little fun fact there. Lindsay? Eli.
Also in the NFC East, a big week for the Cowboys as well, who have been struggling on offense, particularly when it comes to the passing game, though they have proved quite adept at passing the blame. Cole Beasley saying last week that the wide receivers have been open, and Alan Hearns telling ESPN this week that play calling has been a problem. One could argue this is a problem in and of itself. Jane Slater, what's going on down there in Dallas?
Well, Lindsay, the last wide receiver to call out the play calling in Dallas was Des Bryant, and he's no longer here. I reminded Alan Hearns of that today, but he is not backing off his statement. He's referring to Dak Prescott's second interception in the third quarter against 2-man coverage, saying everybody knows that that's not a good play call. Now, I did ask him if he's received any admonishment from the coaching staff for his statements, and he said no. He says he communicates these things to his wide receivers coach Sanjay Lau, and then if Lau wants to communicate that to the OC Scott Linehan, that's fine. He was asked about how Dak Prescott handled the call, but he said he didn't know if he had the opportunity to check out of it or the authority to. Talking about this matchup against the Jags, his former team, he says it's one he circled on his calendar because it's like playing against your brothers, and it's not one you want to lose.
Well, the good news for the Cowboys offense, while they are facing a Jaguars defense that is pretty darn good this week. They're facing an offense that has been all over the place. Blake Bortles, great one week, not so great the next. We've got a 67 passer rating, followed by a 111, followed by a 72, followed by a 114, then a 54. If we are following the pattern there, Kurt Warner, I think that this should be a good week for him. What are your expectations for number 5?
Well, I tell you what, Lindsay, I don't have expectations because he is so up and down. You can't pinpoint exactly what you're going to see or why. And then I couple that with the Dallas defensive front has really been getting after people. Deshaun Watson was running for his life last week, because of those guys up front and Tank Lawrence and the way they're coming after the quarterback. So I'm just not going to hold my breath this week that he's going to come out and have one of those 110 quarterback ratings.
Far more consistent this season. That sophomore quarterback in Kansas City, he has passed all of his tests so far, but he does have a very big one this week. How do you see Pat Mahomes faring this Sunday in Foxborough?
I tell you what, this is the guy that has shown me week in and week out what we're going to get. He hasn't had those ups and downs or those down moments yet. Yeah, a couple interceptions last week, but he still played really good football. I just look at this kid and say, he's a good quarterback. I expect him to play well each and every week. Will it be as well as he did the first couple weeks of the season? Well, probably not because he was on fire, but I expect him to go into Foxborough, not to be fazed, and have another good game.
Mahomes' career passer rating, 106.7. Only quarterback with a better number through 6 starts. This guy right here, whose top 5 quarterbacks of Week 5 are coming up.
Yeah, it is probably the game of the week, Lindsay. Patriots getting ready for the Chiefs in Foxborough. This was the season kickoff game last year that surprised most of the NFL when KC went in there and won it. But do not suggest revenge, and do not suggest, hey, is there playoff seeding potentially on the line to Bill Belichick? Here is Mike Giardi with today's Pats Report.
They call Chiefs receiver Tyreek Hill the Cheetah for one reason and one reason alone. He's the fastest guy in the NFL. This according to Philip Dorsett, another pretty speedy guy for the New England Patriots. So how do you replicate that speed on the practice field? Well, if you listen to Bill Belichick, you can't.
Whoever the fastest player on anybody's team is probably not as fast as Hill, but yeah, it's hard to simulate that speed. It's hard to simulate Mahomes' arm strength. It's hard to simulate Kelsey. It's hard to simulate, where do you want to start? Right down the line. Conley, Sammy Watkins, Thomas. They got a bunch of them.
Brian Hoyer is the one playing the role of Patrick Mahomes to the Patriots scout team. He's 32 years old, doesn't have nearly the arm that Mahomes does. He says some of the throws he makes, quite frankly, are ones that you would not try, at least he wouldn't, in a game.
All right, thank you, Mike. Joined by 3-time Super Bowl champion Willie McGinest here, the former Patriot. Great head coaching matchup.
Yeah, it is.
Andy Reid has all these weapons with which to play and deploy, and Belichick is the master of taking away a weapon or two. Who's he going to focus on?
Wow, I think that's a great question. When it comes to Kansas City, it's like pick your poison, right? So going into the meetings, what we used to do is say, first thing we got to do is stop the run, control the trenches. So this starts with Kareem Hunt. When you look at the tape and you watch what he does from running the football and out of the back, he could do so many things. He hurt the Patriots so bad the first time they played in the one-on-one matchups with the linebackers. They ran the ball. He got the edge. He got outside. He made big plays. He scored home runs. And when you can't stop the run, it opens up things down the field, Scott.
Okay, well, that's the standard running back there, a big body, a guy who had a big game in the season kickoff game in Hunt. But if you do that against KC, they can hit the turbo button if they want to with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, we're not going to use the turbo button this game. You got to eliminate the cheetah. So you got to take him out and kind of eliminate the big plays. We saw Jacksonville try and do it against Tyreek Hill, but when you watch him, he's explosive. They use him in a lot of different positions. There he is coming out of the backfield. They used him in a lot of bunch formations where they got him matched up one-on-one, get him the ball in space, and then when you have a mental breakdown on the back end, guess what? It turns to right here. A big play, and you see those deuces going up, and you just see the back of his number. So with Belichick, I know you're going to go in. You can't stop everything. Eliminate the big plays. Try to control Kareem Hunt in the front, not let him get big runs and get big plays out of the backfield.
We just had this whole discussion without even mentioning the name Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Bill Belichick usually crushes young quarterbacks. In his last 8 games, Bill Belichick's last 8 games coaching against guys who had less than 10 starts at the quarterback position, Belichick's undefeated. 8-0. big one on Sunday. Well, meanwhile, the 3-1 Carolina Panthers play the 2-2 Redskins on Sunday. Cam Newton and the guys coming off the thrilling last-second 63-yard field goal game winner. A victory Sunday would put them into a virtual tie for first place in the NFC South. Let's check in with Tiffany Blackman in Charlotte.
Cam Newton said the band is back together, and he was referring to the return of tight end Greg Olsen and linebacker Thomas Davis to the practice field. Olsen practiced today in full pads and a limited capacity for the first time since fracturing that right foot in week 1. He said overall he feels good, still deals with a little bit of soreness though. Now as for whether or not he'll play on Sunday, the team still wants to evaluate him and they want to see how he feels tomorrow morning. Getting him back though would be significant. Newton said that Greg is to this offense what TD is to this defense. Thomas Davis being their emotional leader. He will start on Sunday after serving a 4-game suspension, and they'll keep him on a pitch count, but he is excited to be back, though this will be an emotional return for him. Davis's father passed away over the weekend. He said he is sure things will be extremely difficult for him on Saturday when they have the funeral, but he is looking forward to playing on Sunday.
Charlotte, one of the many U.S. cities keeping a close eye this week on Hurricane Michael, which made landfall today in Florida with winds of up to 155 miles an hour. And while it isn't expected to directly impact any NFL games this weekend, the NFL is encouraging fans to donate to the families that are impacted. You can do that by texting the word Michael to 90999 to give $10 to the American Red Cross Hurricane Relief. Mike Tomlin has been instructed to give the league $25,000 for his rant about officials after Sunday's win over the Falcons. The Steelers head coach upset about the 14 penalties called in the game, called the officiating a joke, and asked the league to get better. Interestingly, he is one of the 2 coaches currently on the competition committee. Officially a free agent as of today, Ereck Flowers will be visiting Jacksonville tomorrow. The Jaguars pretty banged up on the offensive line, taking a look at the former Giants tackle who cleared waivers this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Giants are getting back their best pass rusher tomorrow. Olivier Vernon expected to make his season debut after 5 games out with an ankle sprain. Ingram ruled out for that game. Fournette out for the Jags. T.Y. Hilton out for the Colts, described as week to week still by Frank Reich. And if you saw Deshaun Watson being checked out by the medical staff at the end of the game last week and wondered if we would see him this week, don't wonder. He says that he feels great. Aaron Rodgers led the NFL with 442 yards. Didn't throw a pick, didn't get a win. Josh Allen, last in the NFL in passer rating, tossed himself a pick, got himself a win. Look, data deceives, but stats don't make Kurt Warner's top 5 list. Kurt Warner makes Kurt Warner's top 5 list. I'm assuming Breezy makes it, but who else does? No, Josh, not you.
Plus, see that? That right there. Bam, bam. That's what it looked like the last time the Bengals beat the Steelers, 2015. Big Ben and AB were still besties. Bell was carted off. Dalton walked off a winner. Any chance that happens again? Which version of Blake Bortles shows up Sunday? This one or that one? And which version of Baker Mayfield needs to show up? That's next.
You never forget your first race, and you never back down from the next. You're the brotherhood of muscle.
Hello?
Christian, it's JB.
Hey, how's it going?
When you score a touchdown this season, you become a Panther.
Got it.
Put them claws up. You will leap with your powerful hind legs onto the goalpost. You will perch on that goalpost. Your tail will go back and forth like the ocean. It's going to be very hard to get down because he has nothing to grab onto. So you got to wait till the end of the game. Fire department come and get you down.
What? When? How? Why?
Because. Use Old Spice.
She knows best.
Everything feels bigger in a place like New York. Otherworldly talent, infinite potential, and of course, a visit from Carson and the Champs. Arch rivals, desperate to take each other down in the Big Apple.
To the end zone.
Eagles, Giants, when it's on, it's on.
Oh, touchdown!
Thursday Night Football, tomorrow at 8 on NFL Network, Fox, and streaming on Prime Video.
I have been given this control room, and I have been given the omnipotent power to play any NFL moment from any NFL game ever.
Rocco, roll the open. Headlines, highlights, hysteria. Get ready for an experience.
Promote what makes your business great with Vistaprint. Whether it's a business card, a banner, or a postcard, we have the paper stocks, sizes, and design options to create marketing that's right for your business. Give it a try with 500 standard business cards starting at just $9.99 when you use code VP500 at Vistaprint.com.
Whether you need eyewear or contacts, ordering from Iconic is easy. Behind the scenes, it's another story.
I have an incoming order, sir. Well, let's hop to it. This is Meg.
Prescription and insurance verified, $220 saved.
Bellissimo.
That Darla, she's such a stickler.
For your favorite brands of glasses, sunglasses, and contacts, visit Iconic.com. Looking out for your eyes.
It's NFL Numbers Week 5 edition. 424. Touchdowns have been scored so far, the most in NFL history through 5 weeks, and 20 more than the previous record. 9.96. That's the margin of victory through 5 weeks, and if it were to hold, would be the lowest margin of victory since 1932. 24. Games have been decided by 3 points or fewer, second most in NFL history through Week 5. 71% of all games have been within one score in the fourth quarter. And 5 straight weeks there have been at least one overtime game, making it the first time there have been at least one overtime game in each of the first 5 weeks of the season since the regular season overtime rule was implemented in 1974. That's the NFL Numbers Week 5 edition.
Well, the #1 pick in the draft, he got a win in his first NFL appearance. He got a win in his first home start. Now the challenge for Baker Mayfield and the Browns: beat the Chargers this weekend and go over 500 for the first time in 4 years. But as Steve Weitz tells us, the Bolts have their eyes on staying over 500.
Offensive balance. Those were the operative terms used by Chargers quarterback Philip Rivers and head coach Anthony Lynn as the team heads to Cleveland this Sunday, and it's spearheaded by running backs Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler, who are on pace to surpass 3,200 scrimmage yards, which would beat the record by Saints running backs Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram set last year. Now, they have 6 receiving touchdowns, 9 total, but their effectiveness in the passing game is why Lynn said they have been so strong for the Chargers this year. Lynn told me that they ask a lot of their running back in terms of protection and really looking out for Philip Rivers, but their route running and getting in one-on-one matchups, that is why they're so dangerous, and that is the main reason why this offense is clicking so well.
Thank you, Steve. Take a look at the Browns' offense against the Chargers' defense, statistically speaking, over the last 2 weeks. Browns have been scoring. Chargers haven't been letting many into the end zone. Big plays. The Cleveland Browns, one of the best big play teams since Week 4 in the National Football League. All right, let's go over to Willie and James right now. How do we see Baker versus the Bolts playing out?
Well, JJ, this young phenom Baker Mayfield has shown he has big play capability, but there's somebody on the other side of the ball you think can negate some of that? Absolutely, and it's Derwin James. When I watch this kid play right here, Willie, he reminds me of the great Sean Taylor. Listen, right here. This guy right here, we know him. Oh, yeah, he done threw for 90,000 yards almost, and usually up the seam as well. Look at his eyes. He's patient. He ain't giving Drew Brees nothing to say, I'm going over there. Breaks on the ball. Unbelievable range this kid has. He can play in the box, free safety. He is special. Speaking of eyes, watch Baker Mayfield's eyes right here on this play. He lines up the middle of the field safety. He's going to give him the eyes that he wants to see. He's also going to give him the shoulder. He gets him to move instantly. Once he moves, he vacates a big spot that Higgins is going to run a deep in, and he's going to make a perfect throw. So a young quarterback already having this in his arsenal is special. So you want to throw him off. You want to rattle him, right? You want to disguise. You want to blitz. Okay, check Nickerson here down at the bottom. They run a corner blitz, unblocked. He already sees this man. He knows where he wants to go right now. He's poised. He's not worried about taking a hit in the pocket. Delivers a strike. I know you love these type of throws. Not a lot of quarterbacks is going to make this throw. You got a high back shoulder throw. That is big time. It goes right by the earlobe. He makes a great throw, a great catch by Landry, turns into a big play. So this is going to be a little chess between the young phenom. You better be careful, too, because Derwin James has a lot of range, and he'll bait you. You think he can't get there, but he knows he can get there. He's special. Well, Lindsay, we're going to see if he can get there or not, but I'm sure he's going to take his shots.
Chargers' next game after this one, Willie, is going to be in London. Before we get to that, though, the Seahawks and Raiders have a game there this week. It's the first of 3 games in 3 weeks at Wembley Stadium. And as you see here, the 12s are already trickling in. Seahawks travel tonight. Gruden has the Raiders going tomorrow, and he is not looking forward to it.
I don't know. I hope I can make it, honestly. I'm not great. You know, I just get claustrophobic. My son was a weightlifter. He won a powerlifting championship in Belarus. I had to fly 14 hours. I had to fly home 14 hours. I had vertigo for a month. You know, I couldn't even lay down. The house was spinning. So I'm hoping I don't get vertigo. I'm not a great traveler. I'll be honest with you. I hate it. I'm not good. So I'm concerned. I'm more worried about that than our goal line offense right now.
Well, that is the last thing you want to be dealing with in a game week. You know, the Eagles will be making that trip to London in Week 8, and there have been a lot of reports suggesting that this guy could be a member of that team by then. Eagles reportedly making calls to Buffalo to inquire about a trade for LeSean McCoy. Calls Sean McDermott is neither confirming nor denying.
LeSean's one of our better players. Thought he had a good game the other day. And really, we're just looking forward to playing the Houston Texans. You know, we get calls all the time. Incoming calls happen all the time. Brandon and I talk a lot, and I won't go into any more detail than that.
So are you confirming that the Eagles did call?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into any more detail than I said.
Is LeSean McCoy available for trade?
I'm not going into this is why, guys, I came out and started where I started. With if you just want to hear the same reply, I'll give you the same reply. All right, so I respect where you're coming from and the jobs you have to do, respect where I'm coming from. He's a valuable member of our football team, and I'm going to leave it at that.
I think finito works. Also a valued member of a football team, James Conner in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger, apparently a fan of what he's done for the team this season, says that he should stay on the field if and when Le'Veon Bell comes back.
I think Le'Veon's one of the best in the business. We all understand that and can agree on that. But what James needs to understand is he doesn't need to, and he's going to say the right things, and he should. He's a younger guy with a veteran, awesome football player ahead of him. But when Le'Veon comes back, no way, shape, or form should James just say, okay, it's all yours. I'm going to sit back, and when you need me, use me. It's one of those ones, and I will push for James to get as much run as we can because we've seen some great things from him in all phases of football.
All right, first things first, Mr. Roethlisberger. You've got the Bengals in Cincy on Sunday. James Jones will tell us who has the edge in that one after the break.
You're headed down the highway when the guy in front slams on his brakes out of nowhere. You do too, but not in time. Hey, no big deal. You got a good record, and Liberty Mutual won't hold a grudge by raising your rates over one mistake. You hear that, Karen? Liberty Mutual doesn't hold grudges. How mature of them.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise their rates because of their first accident. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
There are many reasons for you to head to Atlanta for Super Bowl 53 with NFL on location. Your dreams are made of moments like this. Hang with your heroes and experience the best that game day has to offer. You'll tackle your bucket list in one unforgettable weekend. And yes, we have 50 more reasons you should join us at Super Bowl 53. Don't believe us? Experience it and find out for yourself. Reserve your ticket package today at NFLOnLocation.com.
You wouldn't drive your car like this, or landscape, but this is how most of us go through our financial lives, without knowing our financial story. But now, there's the Experian Financial Profile. You can see the type of information that lenders see. It's free at Experian.com/profile. See how your Experian Financial Profile can help you. right now at Experian.com/profile.
Meet the all-new SimpliSafe home security system, engineered with a single focus, to protect. Sensors so small they're practically invisible. Designed to disappear into your home and blanket it with protection. All at prices that are fair and honest. This is SimpliSafe. Home security done right.
We're down to 1:40 left in overtime. Tied at 7. Waits patiently, driving up the middle. Shady's going to score. Shady's going to score. Touchdown! Touchdown!
It's a great day. We got football, baby.
You spoke my language right there. I'm going for
Will not go quietly into the night.
Oh, was that the bacon?
This team is different.
They're loaded on both sides of the ball. We've got celebrity guests one after the other.
They call me a goat. I was thinking WWJD. What would Justin do?
Hey! We are with Carson Wentz, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh! What a way to start the day.
It's incredible.
Oh! That's why we're the best.
5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to Game Day Prime.
Every dog has a day.
He had all day to throw, looking for the long ball.
Touchdown! 2 defenders, he makes the catch, steps across the pylon.
That's textbook.
So happy to be here with 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah! Everything you want to see. If you ball, you get the call.
What's up, baby?
Next week, I want you all to wear your Hall of Fame jackets.
Tonight is about our strength, our love, our competes, our passion. Let's go get this win for each other.
Embrace the moment, have some fun, let's ball out with our brothers.
Finish every tackle, finish every play, and finish the damn game. Let's go! Let's go! Hey, great communication all day. It was good. I mean, I was about to launch it. Go, 5-3. Go, 5-3. I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you, bro.
Like the whole momentum of this game completely changed. Tell you one thing we don't do is we don't lay down.
I'm not the last receiver on the 100 list. I think I'm maybe 5th.
Let's go! Yeah! We don't hang our heads. We go right back to work.
Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, you too. Stay healthy, all right?
Proud of you, bro. Keep working.
Yo, we'll see you guys down the road.
Let's get back in and get ready for the Patriots. So Chiefs on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Some of the best of Week 5. There's some of the best of Week 6 here. Got to circle that Chiefs-Pats game there in the primetime hour on Sunday. But there are also some good matchups in the earlier windows like Steelers-Bengals, Chargers-Browns, and how about that 4:05 game in Denver? Rams undefeated. Looks like they are getting Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks. They will have them for this game against a defense that hasn't played particularly well for Denver, but they have players like Von Miller that can wreck shop. And then on the other side of the ball, Sean O'Hara, they have some running backs that could see some things on tape that they might like.
Yeah, some young RBs with some fresh legs. And if you're playing the Rams, you don't want to be throwing the ball 40-plus times. So run the football. Seattle did it last week. And let me show you how they did it. Listen, there's a couple ways to run the ball. You could bring in tight ends and jam everybody up, but sometimes you're hitting your head against the wall. Or you could spread them out. I like to spread them out and give me some space. So, look, you see Seattle here goes 3 wides right now. And what that does is that gives them 6 guys in the box right here. And it creates running lanes. So you see the formation right there. Now, here's the 6 guys in the box that I'm talking about. And this is what I call a draw scheme. Now, what I want you to watch is on the snap of the ball, they're going to fake like it's a pass. And what it's going to do is it's going to create the illusion to this defensive line that, hey, this is a pass play. And they're going to roar up the field. And what you want is to create space and running lanes. Here you see the defensive end up the field. Aaron Donald thinks it's passed. They're all wanting to get after the quarterback. The guy who's got the tough job on a draw is the front side guard. J.R. Sweezy right here does a great job and gets movement right here on this D tackle. But look at that run lane right there. This is because of the draw technique. You get your guys up on the backers, and I showed you the spacing. So now you've got them in a 4-2-5, which is a nickel package because of the formation. that 3 wides is how they get there. Now, Denver did this earlier on. This is week 2 right here, Lindsey, against Oakland. Here you see the 6-man box, right? And this is exactly what you want to run the football against if you're the Denver Broncos. Philip Lindsay, the young, fresh legs that I'm talking about. No relation, of course, to you, Lindsey. But here's the draw fake. And what I want you to watch right now is the Broncos on this run fake, all right, they sell the pass first. These guys are getting out the field. Look what it does to this linebacker right here. He thinks it's a pass, so he starts to drop a little bit. That creates space for this run game to work. Look at the running lanes now. Philip Lindsay puts his foot in the ground. He's getting north. He's gone. 53 yards. That's what the Broncos need to do. It's the draw game. It doesn't have to be the power run game, but they're leading the league right now in yards per carry, almost 5.5 yards carry. You got to do it that way.
Let me ask you this, though. If the Broncos fall behind early, is this all a moot point?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a game plan. Everything sounds great on Wednesday and Thursday, but you get into the game, they've got to be effective on it in first and second down. But again, as you mentioned, they didn't bring Case Keenum into Denver to throw the ball 45 times, so that's not their design.
Yeah, Royce Freeman and Philip Lindsay haven't touched the ball that much these last 3 weeks, or as much anyway. All of those losses for the Broncos. When they have touched the ball, though, and you mentioned this earlier, they've averaged 5.5 yards a carry combined.
Hey, Lindsey, let's talk about this 3-2 Jacksonville at 2-3 Dallas contest. This one has uh-oh written all over it when you compare the Jags defense to the Cowboys offense. Basically, it's a top 5 defense versus a bottom 5 offense. Willie, where do we think this one's going to be won or lost?
Definitely in the trenches, power on power. And when you're Dallas, you've got to run the football effectively. You don't want Prescott dropping back, throwing the ball. So when you watch some of their power plays, they do a great job. This first play that I'm going to show you is called a power tray. This is getting everybody to the power. Watch Tyron Smith right here. He's going to block down on the end. They're going to pull Martin and Collins, and Zeke is going to sit back there looking like, man, this is a party I want to go to every single day. Look at it. Everybody's covered up. He's got a 2-way running lane. He can go to the right or he can go to the left. Vision says he's got the safety right now behind his block. He makes a great cut. He gets around the edge, and he does that. Now, he's going to see an 8-man box playing against Jacksonville. Check it out. It's 8 men. This is how they defend against the run. You can't beat me outside, so you got Jack and you got Smith over the top, and you got 2 safeties in the box. You got Harrison and Gibson. Malik Jackson does a great job of taking on the double team, which allows Harrison to get in the gap and make a one-on-one tackle in the backfield, okay? And then you got Gibson that's going to clean it up. They're going to see this all day long, Scott, 8-man front, because they don't think they can lose on the outside. Here's a familiar defense they faced already. Here's Carolina right here. 8 men in the box, guess what? You got to block it. So when you get one-dimensional and you can't run and you got to pass, they better be blocking us. That's going to happen on a daily, on a basis,
regular basis.
Yeah.
A great matchup to watch here. Get this: if the Jags win and get some help, they can be in first place by the end of the weekend. If the Cowboys win and get some help, the Dallas Cowboys can be in first place in the NFC East. Another great matchup to watch is that AFC North game between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. How about a little tail of the tape, James?
We got a little tail of the tape. Now, I know everybody think they know what I'm going to do, but you don't. I'm about to show you. Quarterbacks first. We got Big Ben. He's on pace for 5,000 yards, but I like my guy. Andy Dalton is playing some ball right now. I love what he's doing over there. Touchdown passes to all those receivers over there. I love what he's doing. And then running backs. I like James Conner, but I like Joe Mixon just a little bit better. I'm taking Joe Mixon in that one too. And wide receivers, it's hard to go against Juju. It's hard to go against AB. I got to give that to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Marvin Lewis, Coach of the Year. I told you, listen to me. I'm telling y'all right now, Marvin Lewis, Coach of the Year. I give him that over Tomlin. And the defense. We seen them against the Dolphins. We seen all the touchdowns, all the turnovers. That's a big-time defense. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals on the defense, too. Who they say gonna beat them Bengals? I'm taking the Bengals. Thought y'all had the Steelers, huh? Nope.
After the break, there was only one man with a perfect passer rating this week, and his name isn't Breeze, it's Beckham. But can you make Kurt Warner's top 5 list with only 1 pass attempt? That's next.
You have to have a screw loose to play defense. I just so happen to have about 3 or 4 of them.
Respect is not given, it is earned.
He's the best open field tackler I've ever seen.
He hit me harder than I've ever been hit in my life.
Dawkins made the head He is a Hall of Famer in every respect.
The road to get to where I am has come with a lot of pain. I know what that dark place feels like.
First of all, hallelujah!
Check out Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's for great deals on great gear. With the season's best selection of the brands you want, just in time for fall. Clothing and gear for everyone, like this Garmin eTrex 10 handheld GPS for under $75.
Now with a 2 for $6 deal, pick from the new Crispy Chicken Tenders, or the Crispy Chicken Sandwich, or the Spicy Crispy Chicken, or the Flame Grilled Whopper. Match or mix, any two will cost you $6, only at Burger King.
Experience a blend of refined craftsmanship and raw power, engineered to take the crown. The Lexus LS500 and LS500H. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Every TV doctor knows nothing's more important than a good bedside manner.
I don't know how to say this. It's okay, Doc. Give it to me straight. No, you don't understand. I don't know how to say this. I'm just a TV doctor.
They also know you should get your annual checkup.
It could save your life.
Schedule a checkup with your doctor. Know your 4 health numbers and start taking control of your health today. Cigna, together, all the way.
In an era of online retail where everything is just a few clicks away, buying a car should be no different. That's why at Carvana, you can buy a car 100% online. We made it easy to browse, view, and buy from over 10,000 cars. You can even trade in your old car, all while binge watching your favorite TV show. Afterwards, we'll deliver your car to you. Or you can pick it up from one of our car vending machines. Either way, your car comes with a 7-day return policy. So grab a seat, relax in your comfy pants, and enjoy the new way to buy a car at Carvana.
Ancestry DNA makes over 10 million new family connections every day. That's more ways to discover new relatives, people who share your DNA, and maybe a whole lot more. Order your kit at AncestryDNA.com.
Want to bring those ups to football?
Should I jump over anything else?
Sure, try me.
What about you?
Want to show how to ATL do?
Bring it that way.
Can I bring my superpowers?
Tell them. What? Yes.
Can I bring the heat?
Definitely bring that.
Can I bring my crew?
Bring them.
We meet again.
Hey, maybe. Hey, maybe. You ever see me? They start going crazy. Start going crazy.
They're bringing it. How about you? What do you bring?
This is what wakes us. This is what brings us together. This is NFL Game Day morning.
I love you, Dad.
Shh.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge factor, okay?
Tonight is about us! It's about us! Blue 80, what's that?
Drew drops back, looks to the far sideline, wide open, Tre'Quan Smith. And Tre'Quan Smith is going to go to the end zone. Drew Brees has done it.
I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you, buddy. Hey, boys! How about that, huh? Yeah. How about that? Thank you, Coach. Come on, let's go win the game now. All right, come on.
Drew Brees now #1 on the all-time passing list. Will he top this list as well? It is Kurt Warner's top 5 quarterbacks of Week 5. I assume he's on there somewhere. Kurt, will it be #1? Lay it on us.
Well, I tell you what, Lindsay, it was easy to come up with the #1, but maybe the hardest to come up with the other 4. So here's what I got for you. #5, Deshaun Watson. #4, Kirk Cousins. How about #3? Tom Brady makes his debut on the top 5 for the season.
Really?
Last
First
Thursday
time?
night looked like he was looked like he was back to playing Tom Brady football now that he's got his weapons back. #2, you see there Phillip Rivers, and of course #1. How do you go against Drew Brees? Not just because he set the record on Monday night, but he had a phenomenal game on top of that. 26 for 29, over 300 yards. He was great. Of course, he gets the top spot.
I like Kirk Cousins in there at #4. He has somewhat quietly been playing very, very good ball this year in Minnesota.
Well, especially the last couple weeks. When you talk about big throws into tight windows, I'm not sure anybody has been better all year long than Kirk Cousins. And, I mean, you're going to see a number of shots here. Pressure in his face. I mean, falling down, getting hit, and just dropping dimes down the field. A double move here by Adam Thielen, who's been great as well. But look at that. On the money for a big play, and you're going to see right here. I mean, Not many guys are making that throw with pressure in their face, and we're going to see another one here. His ability to manipulate the safety. He's going to pump to the right, work the safety. You're going to see a little turn of the safety's hips here, and that's all it takes. Little pump right here. Safety starts to move, and then another dime right here against really good coverage to Stephon Diggs, working the safety, and just money throws down the field. Last 2 weeks, I think he's been as good as anybody in the league. There's just some other good performances that pushed him down a little bit, but I like the way he's playing right now.
All right, let's see if the fans agree. The fans top 5 now, and
fans never agree.
They don't have
Lindsay,
Kirk Cousins. They don't have Kirk Cousins. They don't have Deshaun Watson either. They do have Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, who didn't make the cut for your list.
Come on, Linz. The fans always like the flash, and those two guys could probably be on every top 5 list. For me, I dig a little bit deeper, and I like to put different guys on the list. Deshaun Watson played well on Sunday night to get the big win, and we just showed Kirk Cousins playing some good football.
Patrick Mahomes, you could make an argument, though, that was his worst game of the year, but that's what made it so impressive, right? The fact that it was still good, even when he wasn't playing his best ball.
Well, and again, you have to look at who he's playing against. Best defense in the league, and still went over 300 yards and found a way to get a big win against a really good football team.
All right, but everybody in agreement that Drew Brees is number 1 on every list that ever existed, although not passing touchdowns yet. Hayton, you got that one still. All right, that is Kurt Warner, still to come on game day morning on Sunday. Looking forward to what you got for us then.
Thursday night football, Eagles and Giants, NFC East battle. Someone's season's going to take a torpedo to the hull on Thursday night. 8 o'clock is kickoff. Pregame show on NFL Network starts at 6 p.m. Of course, also seen on Fox and streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Time now for the best choice, presented by Golden Corral. A little fantasy chatter for Thursday night football. The expert, Michael Fabiano, is here. 4 guys people might have to make a decision on. Starting with Carson Wentz. How is he going to score?
I say 18 fantasy points for Wentz, which is actually lower than what his average is in the last couple of weeks. But road game Thursday night football, good projection, not a huge projection. He's kind of outside my top 10 right now.
Corey Clement back from injury and no Jay Ajayi for the Eagles.
14 PPR points in this game. The last time he played without Jay Ajayi, he led the Eagles in backfield touches. Wendell Smallwood was second. Now, this is an interesting situation here, too, because we want to see how those touches are split up, because this could be a backfield committee. But right now, I've got Clement leading that backfield.
For the New York Giants, Sterling Shepard, one of those guys who needs to get the football, and they got to distribute it to several different playmakers.
I really like him.
Okay.
I'm going to give him 15 PPR points. In fact, that might actually be a little bit low. He could end up going into the 18 to 20-point range. The Eagles have been the worst team in the league at stopping wide receivers on the road, and Evan Engram is out once again.
And Nelson Aguilar was the number 1 wide receiver, but now they're getting more healthy there. How do we see him scoring?
Yeah, his targets have gone down, and he just does not produce with Alshon Jeffrey in that offense on a regular basis. I'm giving him 9 PPR points. And if you look at the numbers, Nelson Aguilar is a better fantasy wide receiver when Nick Foles is throwing on the football. Wentz goes to Alshon and Ertz more often.
Wrap it up with a yes or no question. I was the high scorer in our fantasy league last week. Will I be this week?
No, not happening.
Yes, I will when I take down Rody Rhodes head-to-head. Yeah, it is. It's going down. Bengals defensive end Michael Johnson had that pick 6 to help Cincinnati stay in first place, but his best work might be what he's doing off the field. You don't want to miss this next.
What's a Tyson meal kit? It's simple, honest ingredients. It's pre-chopped and pre-seasoned. It's just the right amount of help to make a wholesome meal. That's what it is.
The Fix Finder tool from AutoZone is a fast source of relief. It tells you what's the most likely fix for your engine light on the spot. For her, a gas cap. For them, new spark plugs. Need a repair shop? We can help with that too. So, how will the AutoZone Fix Finder help you?
If you've ever needed more capacity, more features, and more for your hard-earned dollar, The time has never been more right. Get guaranteed lowest prices on top brands like the Samsung laundry pair, now just $6.48 each. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing.
Golden Corral's Beef Lovers Banquet with our all-new bacon-wrapped sirloin filet, smoked beef brisket, portobello top sirloin, and golden delicious shrimp. The Beef Lovers Banquet. Golden Corral, your choice. Rules.
With Samuel Adams, we were always looking for the best hops. Out of 150,000 acres of hops in the world, these 16 are the best of the best. I can taste your middle fruit hops in every glass of Boston Lager.
Everything feels bigger in a place like New York. Otherworldly talent, infinite potential, and of course, a visit from Carson and the Champs. Arch rivals, desperate to take each other down in the Big Apple.
To the end zone.
Eagles, Giants, when it's on, it's on.
Oh, touchdown!
Thursday Night Football, tomorrow at 8 on NFL Network, Fox, and streaming on Prime Video.
When the world is watching and you need your logo to be perfect, you need certainty. At 4imprint, we give you the ultimate guarantee. Because when something has your logo on it, it matters. To you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. Our wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we delivered that's timeless. Certainty. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
This is your dog. He needs a walk while you're out with friends today. That's where WAG comes in. WAG lets you book a dog walker whenever you need. This is Antonio. He's great with dogs.
I've been walking dogs for 2 years now.
Plus, he's been vetted by WAG and knows his stuff.
When meeting a new dog, I always make sure they warm up to me first.
Antonio knows how to give your dog a great walk, and he fills you in on all the details. That's why you use WAG. Because of great walkers like Antonio. Get your first walk free when you download the app now.
Tannehill takes the snap, makes a handoff to Gore under pressure, steps up his pass, batted down, picked off by the Bengals, and Michael Johnson runs it into the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals, as a deflected pass went into the midst of Michael Johnson.
Niners photographer not at that game, I see. That touchdown and ensuing celebration, the first of Michael Johnson's 10-year career, 9 years of which he has spent in Cincinnati, a city that has witnessed his leadership both on and off the field.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Everybody all right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows all the things that's going on across racial divides with civilians, with law enforcement, with minorities and whatnot. So don't be shy, don't be scared. There's no such thing as a silly question or a bad question because someone may have the same question, they just may be afraid. So I think it's a win-win for us all. When Colin brought to attention everything that was going on when he decided to kneel and stuff, we thought it was important that we get out and address the issues that he brought to the mainstream. And the best way I knew how to do that was to bring in law enforcement and kids together.
Hi, Michael. How you doing? I'm well. Good to see you.
Yes, ma'am. When we bring the kids together, we'll have open dialogue.
Guess what we're going to do?
You have that dialogue, you have those questions, you get those answers, you get that understanding.
Did you ever feel like that maybe you wanted to kneel, or did your family ever think that you should kneel, it's the right thing to do?
That's a great question. I asked my dad about it. My dad served in Vietnam, received a Purple Heart. He went and fought for this country when he did not have rights in this country. He said, Cap has done that. He said, now what are you gonna do? This is my action. This is the way that I've chose to promote change.
First, everybody don't like the police. In fact, it don't seem like nobody like the police. Don't you all get tired when people generalize you all and say young people this, young people that? But if they see a bunch of y'all running down the street, they're gonna automatically think you did something bad. And you get tired of that, right? Well, guess what? As police, it's the same way. In essence, the police like young people. People automatically think we're doing something bad, when a lot of times we're just doing our job.
Phoenix 2514 can transmit on tech 2. What's your message?
I've never forgotten that I'm a black man and I can get handled differently than, say, a white person's situation. There have been times I've been pulled over where I've been fearful, like, how is this person gonna handle me?
One of the biggest misconceptions is that all police officers are trained to go out and mistreat black folks. 95% of this job is paperwork and talking to people. All that running around and chasing folks, that 3 to 5% is what you see on TV. But unfortunately, that's what gets the most exposure.
785, no record in CIC.
When we bring the kids together and do interaction and stuff, but we also like them to go to one of our games together. It's like a fun thing for them to do, to be around each other.
I think it's important that they see us in a different way.
Who that think gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody!
Having them being able to be around officers, you can see that change from when they come in to when they leave is something that they can take back to their friends, they can take back to their community.
Blitz, Flacco out to his right. Gets hit, ball is out. Good protection, pass is caught for the touchdown.
We winning. You know how we do it. Who they? Who they?
It's not gonna happen overnight, but kids are the future, and we gotta be the change we want to see.
As a young woman, Michael's mother marched with Martin Luther King in Selma, so you could say it's in his DNA to affect change. And in Johnson's own words, what better way to affect change for the future than through the youth? Eagles-Giants, Thursday night football. Weather is a factor, desperation is a factor. Who wins is the question. Right after this.
Incomparable design makes it beautiful. State-of-the-art technology makes it brilliant. The Lexus NX. Experience the crossover in its most visionary form. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Check out Bass Pro Shops and